Madeleine Beth McCann was born in May 12, 2003. She disappeared on the evening of May 3, 2007 from her bed in a holiday apartment at a resort in Praia da Luz in the region of Portugal. The Daily Telegraph described the disappearance of Madeleine as the most heavily reported missing person case in modern history. Her whereabouts remain unknown. Madeleine was almost 4 years old. Madeleine was on holiday from the UK with her parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, with her 2-year-old twin siblings, and a group of family friends and their children. Madeleine and her twin siblings had been left asleep at 8:30 p.m. in the ground floor apartment while their parents and friends decided to dine in a restaurant 55 meters or 180 feet away from their apartments. After misinterpreting a British DNA analysis, the Portuguese police came to believe that Madeleine had died in an accident in the apartment and that her parents had covered it up. In September 2007, Kate and Jerry McCann are made arguidos, or the formal suspects, in their daughter's disappearance. In July 2008, Portuguese police halt their investigation and lift the arguido status of the McCanns and another man named Robert Murat. Kate and Jerry continued their investigation using private detectives until Scotland Yard opened its own inquiry, Operation Grange, in 2011. The senior investigating officer announced that he was treating the disappearance as a criminal act by a stranger, quote unquote, and most likely it was a planned abduction or burglary gone wrong. The disappearance of Madeleine attracted sustained international interest and saturation coverage in the UK, reminiscent of the death of Diana in 1997. The McCanns were subjected to intense scrutiny and baseless allegations of involvement in their daughter's disappearance, particularly in the tabloid press and on Twitter. In 2008, they and their traveling companions received damages and apologies from Express newspapers, and in 2011, the McCanns testified before the Leveson inquiry into British press misconduct, lending support to those arguing for tighter press regulation. Police described Madeleine as blonde-haired with blue-green eyes, a small brown spot on her left calf, and a distinctive dark strip on the iris of her right eye. In 2009, the McCanns released age-progressed images of how Madeleine may have looked like at age 6. And in 2012, Scotland Yard released an age-progressed image of Madeleine at age 9. So what really happened during the holiday of the McCanns and their friends? The McCanns arrived on April 28 in Praia da Luz for their 7-night spring break. They booked through the British holiday company Mark Warner Limited, and the family, the McCanns, were placed in 5A Rua Dr. Agostino da Silva, an apartment owned by a retired teacher from Liverpool, one of several privately owned properties rented by the company. 5A was a 2-bedroom ground floor apartment in the 5th block of a group of apartments known as Waterside Village. Matthew and Rachel, the McCann's friends, were next door in 5B. Jane Tanner and Russell O'Brien was in 5D. And the Paynes and Diane Webster on the 1st floor. Located on the corner of Rua Dr. Agustino da Silva and Rua Dr. Francisco Hentil Martins. Don't quote me on the pronunciations. So, kung ano lang yung pagkakabasa ko, yun na yun. 5A was accessible to the public from two sides. Sliding glass patio doors in the living room at the back overlooked the Ocean Club's pool, the tennis courts, and the tapas restaurant and bar. The patio doors could be accessed via a public street where a small gate and set of steps led to 5A's balcony and living room. Yung front door daw ng 5A, ng apartment ng McCanns, was on the opposite side of the block from the Ocean Club on Rua Dr. Agustino da Silva. So the McCann's children slept in a bedroom next to the front door, which the McCanns kept locked. Syempre, kailangan nakalock yung pintuan, lalo na nagbabalak sila na mag-dinner doon nga sa tapas restaurant. So yung bedroom had one waist-high window with curtains and a metal exterior shutter. It was controlled by a cord inside the window. The McCanns kept the curtains and shutter closed throughout the holiday. The window overlooked a narrow walkway and residents' car park, which was separated from the street by a low wall. So merong wall pero mababa lang. Madeline slept in a single bed next to the bedroom door, and yung kapatid niyang kambal nasa gitna sa isang travel cot, siguro dala-dala din nung parents. Now let's go to the day of the incident. May 3, 2007, it was Thursday. Over breakfast nung umaga, Madeline asked her parents, "Why didn't you come when her brother, one of the twins, and I cried last night?" And after nung disappearance, yung parents ni Madeline, naisip nila kung ang ibig sabihin ba ni Madeline was someone had entered their room. And Kate, the mother, also noticed a large brown stain on Madeline's pajama top. Kate took the last known photograph of Madeline at 2:29 p.m. sitting by the pool next to her father and 2-year-old sister. The McCanns put the children to bed at around 7 p.m. Madeline was left asleep in short-sleeved pink and white Marks and Spencer's pajamas next to her comfort blanket and a soft toy cuddle cat. So at 8:30, the parents left their apartment to dine with their friends in the Oceans Club's open-air tapas restaurant located on the other side of the pool. The top of the apartment was visible from the tapas restaurant but not the doors. So from doon sa tapas restaurant, nakikita nila yung apartment nila, which was the 5A, pero yung front door was not in the view, kumbaga. Yung patio doors ng apartment na McCanns can be locked only from the inside. So the McCanns left them closed but unlocked with the curtains drawn. Hindi ko alam kung bakit nila iniwan yung mga anak nila. Oo, sarado yung mga pinto pero hindi nakalock, which was weird. Especially kapag nasa bakasyon ka, napakadelikado na kahit nga nandun yung magulang, di ba? Delikadong iwanan mo na hindi nakalock yung mga pintuan, yung mga patio doors, kahit na yung mga windows. Ang katwiran nila kung bakit nila iniwang naka-unlock yung patio doors is para daw mabilis silang makapasok doon sa patio door kung i-check nila yung mga bata. Kasi ang plano nila was every 30 minutes or so, may isang magulang na mag-check sa mga bata, sa mga anak nila, kumbaga. So, iisa-isahin yung room. Every parent needs to check every children doon sa kanilang apartments. The resort staff had left a note in a message book at the swimming pool reception area asking that the same table which overlooked the apartments be block booked for 8:30 for the McCanns and friends. So, pina-reserve nila yung table na yon. So, binook nila yon ng McCanns at ng kanyang mga friends yung table na yon for the last 4 evenings of their holiday. Kasi nga yung balak nila, every night doon sila uupo para makikita nila yung apartment. So the message said that the group's children were asleep in the apartments. Madeline's mother, Kate, believes the abductor may have seen the note. The McCanns and their friends left the restaurant roughly every half an hour, tulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, to check on their children. Madeline's father, Jerry, carried out the first check on 5A at around 9:05 p.m. According to him, the children were asleep and all was well, except Jerry recalled daw na iniwan niyang medyo ajar yung door when they left for dinner. And then pagbalik niya para i-check yung mga bata nung around 9:05 p.m., napansin niya na yung pintuan daw was almost wide open. He pulled it nearly closed again before returning to the restaurant. Naalala niya na iniwan niya na medyo ajar yung door, tapos pagbalik niya, pag-check niya ng 9:05, almost wide open na siya. Pero hindi niya pinansin. Siyempre, he wasn't thinking anything weird that time. And then, at 9:15, one of the Tapas 7, kasi itong mga parents na to, pinangalanan nilang Tapas 7, Jane Tanner, one of the McCann's friend, saw a man carrying a child that night. So this sighting of Jane became an important part of the early investigation. According to Jane, she had left the restaurant just after 9 p.m. to check on her own daughter, passing Madeline's father on his way back to the restaurant from his 9:05 check. So 9:15, si Jane Tanner, chinek naman niya yung kanyang anak. So nakita ni Jane na nag-stop daw itong si Jerry to chat to a British na nag-holiday din doon. But, so itong British man na to, hindi niya ma-recall kung nakita nga din niya si Jane nung time na yon na nakita ni Jane si Jerry nakausap itong British. So ito daw, pangyayari na to, puzzled the Portuguese police, giving how narrow the street was and led them to accuse Tanner of having invented the sighting. So dahil makipot nga lang daw yung daan, imposible na hindi maalala na itong British na to na nag-holiday na nakita din niya si Jane. Kasi 'di ba parang kahit na hindi mo kilala, pag nakasalubong mo doon, imposible hindi mo makita kung maliit lang yung daanan. So sabi ni Jane sa mga pulis na around 9:15 nga, she noticed a man carrying a young child across the junction of Rua Dr. Francisco Hentel Martins and nung Dr. Agustino da Silva just ahead of her, which was not far from Madeline's bedroom, heading east daw, away from the front apartment noong 5A. So itong lalaki na to na nakita ni Jane, yung isa sa naging suspect ng Portuguese police. Madeline's mother, Kate, had intended to check on the children at 9:30 p.m. But one of their friend, Matthew Oldfield, or one of the Tapas 7, offered to do it when he checked on his own children in the apartment next door to 5A. He noticed that the McCann's children's bedroom door was wide open. Sabi ko nga kanina, napansin din yun nung tatay ni Madeline, si Jerry, nung chinek niya yung kwarto ng mga bata at 9:05. So ngayon, 9:30 na ito. But after hearing no noise, he left 5A without looking far enough into the bedroom. Kumbaga, ang nakita lang ni Matthew is yung pintuan na medyo naka wide open siya. Pero hindi niya talaga sinilip yung loob kung nandoon pa yung mga bata, kung okay sila, something like that. He could not recall now whether the bedroom window and its exterior shutter were open at this point. Early in the investigation, the Portuguese police accused Oldfield of involvement because he had volunteered to do the checking. dun nga sa mga bata, suggesting to him that he had handed Madeline to someone through the bedroom window. And then at 10 p.m., Kate made her own check of their apartment. Scotland Yard said in 2013 that Madeline was probably taken moments before this check. 10 p.m. check. Bago mag 10 p.m., Madeline was already abducted, kumbaga. Kate recalled entering the apartment through the unlocked patio doors at the back and noticing that the children's bedroom door was wide open. Again, pertinent to the story. Laging sobrang bukas na bukas yung pintuan. Pag-check din ni Matthew, pero parang nung chinek ni Matthew, hindi din siya na-weirded out na sobrang bukas na bukas yung pinto. Eh diba, kung naaalala nyo, 9:05 nung nag-check yung tatay ni Madeline, sinarado niya yon bago sila umalis for dinner. Pero pagbalik niya ng 9:05, nakita niya na almost wide open yung pinto and sinarado niya ulit. And nung nag-check si Matthew ng 9:30, nakita niya na bukas ulit itong pintuan. Pero ang alam ko hindi naman yata niya sinarado or I'm not really sure. Tapos nung nag-check ng 10 p.m. si Kate, nakita nga niya na wide open itong pintuan. And then, ang sabi ni Kate, doon nga siya dumaan sa unlocked na patio doors sa likod. And she noticed that sobrang bukas na bukas yung pintuan ng kwarto ng mga bata. Nung tinry ni Kate na isarado yung pinto, it slammed shut, which is when she saw that the bedroom window and its shutter were open. Madeline's cuddle cat and pink blanket were still on the bed, but Madeline was gone. This was 10 p.m., May 3, 2007. After briefly searching the apartment, siguro naisip ni Kate baka naman bumangon lang si Madeline, nag-CR, naghanap, umiyak kasi nga wala dun yung magulang. Kate ran back towards the restaurant screaming, "Madeline's gone. Someone's taken her." Ang nakakaloka pa dito, siguro dahil sa sobrang shock ni Kate, may dalawang anak pa siyang naiwan doon, yung kambal, isang boy at isang girl. Siguro dahil sobrang shock niya, hindi niya naisip na hindi niya dapat iwan yung kambal niyang anak kasi nga nawawala na yung panganay niya. And around 10:10 p.m., Madeline's father sent Matthew Oldfield to ask the resort's reception desk to call the police. And at 10:30 p.m., the resort activated its missing child search protocol. 60 staff and guests searched until 4:30 a.m. kinabukasan, May 4, 2007. At first, assuming that Madeline had wandered off. Siguro hinahanap niya yung mami at yung daddy niya and naglakad-lakad siya somewhere doon sa loob ng resort. And now, 2020, after 13 years na Madeline was missing, the police revealed that a 43-year-old German prisoner has been identified as a suspect in Madeline's disappearance. And ang pangalan ng suspect na to is Christian Bruckner. Ang sabi ng mga police, ito daw si Christian is a convicted pedophile and is believed to have been in the area where Madeline was last seen while on holiday in Portugal. Several people daw na nakakakilala dito kay Christian, naaalala nila na Christian was always angry and untrustworthy. The Metropolitan Police who are working with their German and Portuguese counterparts have said that the case remained a missing person investigation. This is after 13 years missing person pa rin. In the UK, because there was no definitive evidence as to whether Madeline was alive or not. Christian Bruckner is currently in prison in his native Germany for abusing a 72-year-old woman, and he had previously been jailed for sexually assaulting a 6-year-old girl in a playground. In a documentary about Christian Bruckner, there was an evidence that a phone allegedly belonging to the suspect, Christian Bruckner, pinged by a mobile phone tower in Praia da Luz, close to where Madeline disappeared on the night she went missing. However, the Portuguese police were not able to connect Bruckner and his prepaid mobile phone to the cell tower data. Police prosecutor Hans Christian Wolters says, quote-unquote, "We are now looking for the other person who was on the call. We want to know what they talked about, but we also want the other person to tell us who they were talking to. The data shows that one phone was there, not who used it. That's why the other person on the call would be so important to us." He also added they could tell us who they spoke to, possibly our suspect. In that regard, it could result in a conviction. Walters has also told Maddie's parents, Kate and Jerry McCann, that they have concrete evidence that Madeline is no longer alive. German police believe Bruckner kidnapped Madeline, but they have just 20 plus months left to prosecute him, as there is a 15-year statute of limitations under Portuguese law, and Christian has still not been questioned. If Madeline is still with us now, she would have been 16 years old. Until now, Madeline is still missing.